The Huawei MediaPad M5 Lite 8 is a new mid-range tablet that usually costs around $250. It features an 8-inch Full HD screen, a Kirin 710 octa-core processor, stereo speakers, and Android 9 Pie. The LTE version can be used as a phone. Well, is it a worthy tablet? I'm NJ from mynexttablet.com, and that's what we will discuss in this Huawei MediaPad M5 Lite 8 review. By the way, the Huawei MediaPad M5 Lite 8 is called Honor Pad 5 8-inch in India. The tablets are identical. If you're interested in the Honor Pad 5 10-inch, that one is identical to the MediaPad T510, which I reviewed as well. Alright, let's start this review. The Huawei MediaPad M5 Lite 8 looks very similar to the more premium MediaPad M5 8 and MediaPad M6 8. It has a mostly metal back, but there are plastic parts on the top and bottom. While its build quality seems to be very solid, it does not feel as high-end as its pricier brother. The main reason for that is that the frame sticks out a tiny bit above the screen. Yes, that does not impact anything at all, but is the reason why it does not feel super high-end. Huawei is offering the tablet in champagne gold and space gray. It weighs 310 grams and is 8.2mm thin. On its sides we get a power button, volume controls, and a standard 3.5mm headphone jack, which by the way is missing from the normal M5 8 and M6 8. One major disappointment is the charging port though. Instead of USB-C we get the older micro USB port. That's really sad. The MediaPad M5 Lite 8 has two speakers and they are located on each side when holding it in landscape view. Actually, this is something that lots of 10-inch competitors don't even offer. We do get real stereo separation here, and the sound quality itself is pretty good for an affordable 8-inch tablet. Sure, the bigger MediaPad M5 Lite 10 has better speakers, but for what it is, it's pretty good. I can say similar things about the cameras. The 30-megapixel camera on the back is not outstanding, but good for a tablet of this kind, and the same goes for the 8-megapixel camera on the front. You can shoot decent selfies with it. The front-facing camera can also be used to unlock the tablet using facial recognition. Often and especially in good light, that works surprisingly well. However, because there's no additional sensor, it's probably not as secure as Apple's Face ID or so. The Huawei MediaPad M5 Lite 8 has an 8-inch screen with an aspect ratio of 16:10 and a Full HD resolution of 1920x1200. Yes, your smaller smartphone probably has the same or even a higher resolution, but I think a Full HD resolution on 8 inches is pretty good. Text certainly looks sharp enough and it's great for reading. Because it is an IPS panel, the screen has wide viewing angles and color reproduction and contrast are good too. Out of the box it looks a tiny bit bluish, but you can adjust the color temperature to your liking in the settings. You will be able to use it comfortably outside, however it can be a bit too dark if you use it in direct sunlight, but it's fine for everyday normal use. I compared the screen to the Samsung Galaxy Tab A 8.0 2019 with S Pen, which is a direct competitor, and most aspects are almost identical. The Samsung screen is a bit more saturated, but that's it. By the way, you can watch Netflix in HD. The MediaPad M5 Lite 8 is a mid-range tablet with mid-range hardware. It has a HiSilicon Kirin 710 octa-core processor that is supported by either 3GB or 4GB of RAM. You can also choose between 32GB and 64GB of internal storage. Another option is 4G. My review unit is the one with LTE, 3GB of RAM and a 32GB storage. Out of those, 8.91GB are used by the system. In benchmarks like Geekbench and Antutu, the Kirin 710 gets pretty good results. In fact, the MediaPad M5 Lite 8 is noticeably stronger than the 10-inch MediaPad M5 Lite 10. The tablet also performs a bit better than the 8-inch Galaxy Tab A 2019 with S Pen, but the differences are very minor. You can also see that the standard MediaPad M5 8 continues to be much faster and the MediaPad M6 8 will be even faster. As those benchmarks suggest, the performance is very solid in real life. You will be able to use common apps like Chrome, YouTube and Word without any issues. They run fine and multitasking works pretty decent too. I don't have anything to complain here. Now, when it comes to gaming, the M5 Lite 8 performs very well for its price class. With that being said, games will look much nicer on the standard M5 8 and even better on an iPad mini, of course. However, you can do some decent gaming on here. PUBG Mobile runs fine when setting the graphics to HD and the frame rate to high. You might notice some stutters in between, but overall it runs fine, and somehow you always see some stutters in PUBG Mobile. Other games like Shadowgun Legends are playable as well, but again, if you set the graphics to ultra or high, you certainly will see some stuttering and even sometimes heavier stuttering. But with medium graphics, most demanding games are playable. I also played Asphalt 9 and didn't encounter any issues, it works fine. The MediaPad M5 Lite 8 is the first Huawei tablet to ship with the Emotion UI in version 9.0.1 out of the box. It's based on Android 9 Pie, so it's running up-to-date software right now, but because of the US-China trade war, future updates are a bit unclear. Right now Huawei is able to push updates and I think they will work it out in the end, but yeah, who knows. With mid-range tablets it's never guaranteed that they will be updated anyways. Huawei did push Android 9 updates to the standard MediaPad M5 series, which certainly is a good sign. Well, Android 9 runs pretty well on this tablet, everything is nice and smooth. The Emotion UI is customizing the operating system very heavily though. If you ever owned a Huawei device in the last 5 years, you will feel at home. The basics haven't changed that much. It looks much different than standard Android out of the box, but you can customize it yourself a lot too. For example, you can install different themes. There's no app drawer when you first use it, but you can activate it in the settings. Huawei built in tons of features. There are a blue light filter, energy saving modes and a digital balance setting. That's where you can see how much time you're spending with which apps. You can also replace those 3 typical Android buttons with gestures. Pretty much all Android 9 devices are capable of that. The tablet comes preloaded with lots of apps. Those include the ones from Google as well as tons from Huawei itself. There's a file manager, a notes app, a weather app, a kids corner and more. The software of the MediaPad M5 Lite 8 is alright, however I think it's getting a bit old. I wish Huawei would redo the interface. For example, the One UI from Samsung looks much more modern in my opinion, but yeah, I can live with the Emotion UI. If you get the LTE version of the MediaPad M5 Lite 8, you will be able to use it as a phone. Yes, you can use mobile internet, but also make phone calls and send SMS text messages. 8-inch tablets are actually kind of usable as a phone replacement. Sure, they're much bigger than normal phones, but they are still kind of portable. For instance, they fit in most jacket pockets and in the back pockets of most pants. I replaced my phone with the MediaPad M5 Lite 8 for a while and it worked pretty good for that, except for when you want to make phone calls. Now, I almost never use my phone to make phone calls, but if you do, you will be missing a built-in earpiece that you can hold to your head. If you don't use headphones, everybody will hear what you and your conversation partner are talking about. In my standard battery test, the MediaPad M5 Lite 8 got a runtime of 11 hours and 30 minutes. For this, I'm always looping an HD video at medium brightness. Considering this is a mid-range 8-inch tablet, the battery life is actually pretty good, and that's what I experienced in real life as well. Even when using it as your phone, it should last you a whole day. Well, unless you're playing Pokemon Go or that new Harry Potter game. Alright, that's the end of my Huawei MediaPad M5 Lite 8 review. It's a very solid tablet overall. The screen and performance are very good for its price. I also like that we're getting Android 9 out of the box, although the Emotion UI could be improved a bit. The speakers and cameras are pretty good and the battery life is long enough too. I don't have much to complain about here. The major thing that's really bugging me is the micro USB port. Everybody should just switch to USB-C by now. I also wish that the 8-inch tablet would support an active pen like its 10-inch brother does, but no stylus is supported. Let's check out some of its competitors. The Samsung Galaxy Tab A 8.0 2019 with S Pen is the most interesting alternative. Its screen and performance are very similar, but it does feature an active stylus which is included at no extra charge. Samsung's One UI is a bit more modern too, and if you want to use an 8-inch tablet as a phone, that one does have an earpiece, but just one standard speaker instead of 2. Usually the Samsung one is a bit pricier though. Another alternative is the standard MediaPad M5 8. With that one you get a better screen, a much better performance, a higher end build quality and a fingerprint scanner. It has gotten an update to Android 9 already. Because of this US-China trade war thing, prices have fallen quite a bit in some countries, so you might be able to get it at a good price. Alright, that's my Huawei MediaPad M5 Lite 8 review. If you have any questions, please feel free to write me in the comments and check out mynexttablet.com. We're 2 people working on that website right now, and there you can find all of our reviews, all of our recommendations and tablet news. I'm Andrzej from mynexttablet.com. Thanks for watching and see you next time.